South Africa is food secure, for now. The land is fertile, the shelves are full, and we're producing enough to feed ourselves. But beneath that surface, something dangerous is quietly growing. If we don't rethink how we use our land and resources, we may be walking straight into a future food crisis. Not because of drought, not because of war, but because we've allowed momentum and market forces to shape our food system without asking a simple question: is this sustainable for the future? Let's think about it in real terms. Walk into a supermarket, look at the biscuit shelf. 10 years ago, there were maybe 3 brands of grain-based biscuits. Today, there might be 50. 50 boxes with slightly different flavors and packaging, but most of them use the same ingredients: wheat, sugar, and oil. All of them require land, water, energy, packaging, and transport. They all draw from the same national pool of agricultural resources. Now, imagine this pattern multiplied across the entire country. If 3 biscuit brands need 10 square kilometers of farmland, 10 brands might need 20, and 50 brands could use 50 or more. Not because people are eating more, but because of competition, novelty, and shelf space battles. That same land could grow maize, potatoes, legumes, the foods that fill stomachs. Instead, it's being used to grow ingredients for products that compete for attention, not necessarily to feed the nation. This is a quiet but growing inefficiency, a slow shift away from balance, a system that appears abundant until it's tested. Here's the deeper issue. South Africa currently wastes around 10 million tons of food every year. That's roughly 1/3 of all food produced. At the same time, hunger and food insecurity still persist in many communities. And here's a real example. In 2023, sunflower production in South Africa increased by 13%. Sunflower oil was in high demand, both locally and globally. At the same time, planting of white maize, one of our key staples, declined. Not because people didn't need it, but because the economics pushed other priorities forward. Over time, that kind of trend weakens food independence. We start depending more on imports for core staples. Prices become more sensitive to global shocks, and our farmland becomes optimized for profit, not for resilience. It doesn't have to be this way. We can support innovation, variety, and business, while still making sure that our foundation is secure. We can have both choice and stability if we plan carefully. There are countries doing this well. Switzerland, for example, protects its farmland through zoning laws. They encourage sustainable production. They ensure that essential food crops are prioritized, and yet they still have market freedom and consumer variety. The difference is they plan for the long term. They treat food like a strategic asset. And South Africa can do the same. Here's how. First, we protect strategic farmland. A portion of our arable land should always be reserved for staple crops: maize, legumes, potatoes, sorghum, the foods we depend on. Second, we promote transparency. Large-scale producers should share how much land, water, and energy their products use. Not to punish them, but to guide smarter decision-making. Third, we address waste. If food is overproduced and thrown away, there should be systems to redirect it, repurpose it, or prevent it from happening again. Fourth, we recognize priorities. Foods that are essential to national health and stability should receive support and incentives. Products that use significant resources but offer little nutritional value should carry a fairer share of the cost. And finally, we create a national food strategy, a pact between government, industry, farmers, and communities, with shared goals to protect food security, promote resilience, and ensure no one is left behind. This is not about choosing one ideology over another. It's about common sense, about balance, about building a future that works for everyone. We don't need 50 versions of the same product if it means losing our core staples. We need a system that celebrates variety, but never forgets what truly feeds the people. Let's protect our land. Let's invest in what matters. Let's make sure that 10 years from now, we still have full shelves and full stomachs. That's a future worth building.